What's up, everybody, and welcome to another RCQ vlog, this time for October 2nd. And as we did in the last one, I hope you caught it, we're going to actually start with a quick review of the deck that I went into the tournament with. So let's go over here, check it out. We're hanging out in Moxfield, and we're running a Boros Energy deck. This is the deck that we've bought into. This is the deck that we're playing. So it's running a pretty standard Boros Energy package with 4 Ojani, 4 Amped Raptors, 4 Guide of Souls, 4 Ocelot Prides. We vary a little bit on the Phlages. This time we're running 3 Phlages, and then we're running 2 Skyclave Apparitions. The Skyclave Apparition tech has been really cool for us, being able to capture anything with mana value 4 or less. So that's capturing frogs, that's capturing aberrant oculuses. It's good in the mirror, capturing cards there. In my region, I've faced a lot of Dimir decks, so it's been nice there as well. So it can capture some really interesting things. It can capture all the way up to the ring, so it can capture the ring. So it's been nice to have this effect and this card in the deck. So I do think it's a really solid addition. We went with 3 and 3 on the discharge and bolts. This particular one was actually slightly a mistake. I was intending on running 3 one rings, but I ran out the door and I only put 2 into the deck. And then I ended up running 2 Chain Taroks and 2 Static Prisons, when I meant to only run 1 Chain Taroks and then 3 the one rings. So that was a little bit of a mistake. But then we were running 2 Blood Moons in the main. We're also running Fable of the Mirror Breakers. So I've been able to get those to go off a couple times, and it seems to be worth it, but it was more testing than anything else. And then 1 Goblin Bombardment. Over in the lands, we did a little bit of a change. We trimmed off one of the Arena of Glories to add another Plains to just make it a little bit more consistent in getting that second Plains that you needed if you're going to run Blood Moon. We're also running an Naganjo, Seat of the Empire. It's been nice. It's actually gotten me a couple removals with the attack, target attacking creature. You can also use it when you're attacking with your own creatures if you need to kill a cat for whatever reason. But for the most part, I've been using it for removal, which has been really nice. So that means only running 1 Arena of Glory. We're still keeping 2 Ether Hubs in there. Then over in the sideboard, we add another Blood Moon. We're not running the Gigantha in the sideboard. I don't know if that's the right play or not, but I never really got around to playing it in the way I play Boros Energy, so I just started cutting it to give myself just a little bit more tech in the sideboard. And so adding another Blood Moon has really helped in some of those Dimir matchups. It's helped in Domain Rant or the Domain Aggro matchup. It helps in the Eldrazi matchup. We do have a healthy Eldrazi presence in my local area as well. So Blood Moon is definitely doing some work for us. Damping Sphere is going to be again for the Eldrazi and for the Storm decks. Fearfire Foes is for the Mirror and really anybody that's running 1 ring in their deck. I've been playing around with this, keeping a Meltdown in the sideboard as well. We do have a couple people that play heavy artifact decks, and so this is just kind of in there for that. And then we also have the Obsidian Charmaw, again, heavy Eldrazi decks or any of the colorless decks out there. Thraben Charms are a must. We need the Graveyard Hate. I do like the Graveyard Hate at instant speed, especially for Storm decks. If they go to cast Past in Flames, you cast this and you blow up the graveyard before they can do anything. It's nice if there's any sort of graveyard recursion deck. So Dimir with the Murktide, for instance, is really nice because then you can blow up the graveyard to keep them in check, not letting them get a big O 8/8 Murktide Regent out there. And then this is another one I'm playing around with. This is mainly in there because the 2 primary decks that we see in my area are going to be Boros and Dimir. And so one of the things the Dimir have started running is the Phyrexian Crusader, which is the 2/2 black infect protection from red and white card. So this is like my only way to kill it. So I've been including it there. It also works again against artifact decks. If you can cast this for like 0 or 1 Oftentimes you can fly under or take very little damage to your board when casting this, and that can affect any of the artifact decks that might be rolling out there. So it does have a couple purposes. It is a little bit of a scorched earth approach, but there wasn't much as far as an answer as I could produce for that Phyrexian Crusader, and it's absolutely devastating. I've actually, this video is after 2 tournaments now that I've played, but I've faced that twice in both of those tournaments, and I did lose to it again. So it was, I never got this card, which I was really upset about. But all that to be said, that's why it's in there. It's very specific hate, but it does kind of have multi-purpose. So with that in mind, though, let's go ahead and check in with me before the tournament and see exactly how I'm doing. What's up, everybody, and welcome to tournament vlog number 1 for November 2nd. Trying something a little different. We're using the back camera on the phone, so if it looks a little weird or it struggles a little bit, that's why. But we just got here. We are have a couple minutes here before the tournament starts. This is the same location that I got my first RC invite, so I'm a little nervous. Hopefully I get a repeat. Hopefully it fires. I know we're late into the modern season. It's the last weekend for modern season and modern RCQs to occur. As far as how I'm feeling today, I'm a little tired. I slept in a little bit. I stayed up a little bit too late. Slept in a little bit. So I did get about 7-8 hours of sleep. But got a good meal in. Got the day started. Got up moving, showered. Feeling okay about the deck. But yeah, I mean, Boros energy is Boros energy at this point, right? There's like 1% shifts here and there that you can make and change. And I just try to really think about my opponents that I may be facing and the various things I want to add to the deck for the opponents that I'm going to face locally here. We should be cutting over from future me giving a deck overview. So you'll have a good idea of what I'm walking into this tournament with. But I just wanted to give a quick update about how I feel going into this, and overall feeling okay other than a little bit tired. And you know, I'm ready. I really want to get the second invite. We have 2 more shots, but I'm like trying to keep my expectations in line and not try to put 1, too much pressure on myself, but 2, also know that I'm still very much learning. I would equate some of my success to that first RC invite to some luck, some good draws, maybe some bad draws on my opponent's part. I did play solidly, and that's all I can do is I can show up, play solidly. I've got a lot of reps on this deck. I've been grinding MTGO and really comfortable with the Boros energy deck and all the little tricks that you can do. So I just got to keep in mind my triggers. I got to keep in mind the tricks I'm going to do. I got to keep in mind everything that I can do with the deck, and then everything I know about the decks that are played locally and the types of decks and what they're trying to do. So I'm fairly comfortable with most of the decks. I still do get blindsided by a deck that I haven't seen before. I mean, I hadn't seen the Elementals deck last tournament. So that was a little rough. But all in all, I'm ready to go, and I'm excited to get this started. So signing off for vlog number 1. We'll catch you in the next vlog. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the second vlog for November 2nd. If you can't tell by the shit-eating grin, I'm going to bury the lead here. We took it. We got our second invite. We have the chance now to go to both Portland and Charlotte in Q1 of next year. I'm super stoked about it. It was another smaller tournament. It was at the same place I got my last RC, RC invite, which was down the road from where I live. And it was another 4-person tournament, single elimination. Both decks I faced were Dimir decks. I keep saying it wrong. But one was like Dimir Murktide. So it has the Murktide Regent. And then the other one was, I guess you call it Frog Tide. They were running the Frog. And then the other one was the Dimir, I'm calling it Frog Eye. So it has the Frog with Aberrant Oculus. in it. And then that was also the deck list that sideboards in the Phyrexian Crusader, so the protection from red and white, and has infect. So they did manage to get it out on the board. I do have an answer for it currently. It's not a great answer, but there is an answer. Didn't have to play it. Essentially, the answer was kill them before they could kill me with the infect. So managed to beat both of my opponents. The first game was, or the first match was really close, both games, but I ended up winning 2-0 in that one. And then the second match was actually running the same deck list as the guy I took second to, and then beat the last tournament. So, or last two tournaments I attended. And that one was a little bit scarier. So completely blew me out of the water game one, and I was nervous. I was like, okay, like this isn't even like a fair match. Just, I'm like, is this what I have to look forward to? And then the game two was a little bit of a little bit of a just like a back and forth. That was the one where they ended up getting the Phyrexian out, I believe. And I just managed to go big and get my damage in. And then third game, I just went off the rails. They were locked into 2 lands. They really struggled to get to the third land. I felt bad for him. Like, he is just stuck over there on 2 lands. And if he had a third land, he had a Toxic Deluge. He showed it to me at the end. So like, he would have been able to take me out, which was kind of scary. So all that to be said, we're adjusting the camera. We're just looking down. We're looking nowhere right here with the camera. So yeah, it was, I'm using the back camera again. So if the camera angle is a little weird, I'm still figuring out how to best get the back camera working, because it is a better image overall. So all that to be said, I just felt bad for him in game 3. But we plan on going to another tournament tomorrow. I'm gonna go for practice, and it should be good to just get more games in. But then we got to start switching our mindset a little bit to standard, but then still stay on top of modern, because we have to go play modern at the RCs next quarter. So that's going to be really interesting. First time for me where I'm going to have to be competitively playing in standard to try to get my bid for the next RC, but also stay practiced and on top of modern for the RCs. So that's going to be a really interesting balance for me, and something I've had yet to do yet, right? So this is all new territory for me. I'm really excited about it. I'm really scared, nervous, excited, energy, all of the things. So we're going to be tackling it. We're going to see what we can do and see if we can make this happen. So we'll cut to future me to wrap us out. Thanks, Pass Me. That was an amazing run. Like, again, I always have mixed feelings about these small tournaments. I mean, it's kind of, in a sense, you get this feeling that like even a blind squirrel finds a nut, but at the same time, the competition is good. Like, these players I'm playing against are good players. There's just not a lot of them there at these tournaments. So like, the guy that I met in the grand finals at the smaller tournament made it to the grand finals at a 13 person tournament the very next day. So it's very interesting feeling I have. I mean, I guess it's a little bit of if you're going to be a grinder, you get out there and you just do as many RCs as you can, and eventually like you'll get through. That's one way to go about it. I obviously feel very, very grateful, very, very excited, very just over the moon, really, about being able to attend both RCs in February and March next year. I feel great about that, but at the same time, I very much know I feel like spoiled a little bit, right? I feel like I know there's so much for me to learn. There's so much to get better at. I still miss lines and triggers and sequencing things. Like, I still miss all of these things. So it does make me really nervous to jump into the RC, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to treat it as experience. I'm not going to keep super high hopes for my performance at the RCs. I'm treating it as practice. So much like attending the RCQs, I'm going to try to attend as many RCs as I can to get as good as I can and to get as much practice as I can, and eventually we'll get there, right? This is a process. Right? I said this summer, so if you're catching this video sometime way in the future, I made this this declaration in the summer of 2024 that I want to try to qualify for a pro tour in the next 5 years. And at that point, I can officially say I'm a pro player if you are making it to the pro tour, right? And so that's my goal, is to try to qualify in that timeline, in that 5 year span. So I got to keep in mind, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It takes effort. It takes study. It takes concentration. It takes one foot in front of the other. I'm just, super fortunate, super lucky, super grateful at the end of the day that I've been able to qualify for 2 regional championships. I'm going to get to experience those. It's going to be fun. I'm just going to take it all in and do the best that I can and try to be as practiced as I can. But I'm also running into this really interesting thing that I mentioned at the end of the video, where now we're in standard season. And so now I'm grinding standard. It's a little easier to grind standard because of arena. I do have MTGO, but those games tend to take forever versus like I can get 2, 3, sometimes even 4 games in arena in the time it takes me to do 1 game in MTGO. So it's nice to be able to do that all in arena. It's also a little bit cheaper to get into a couple different decks, so I can definitely try out a few different things. So overall, I'm super stoked. I'm super excited. We've made it. We're going to the RCs. We're going to both Portland and Charlotte next year. And now we're going to be focusing on standard. So come follow along in this journey. If you made it this far into the video, you might as well like, subscribe, leave a comment, help the YouTube algorithm. Come check my live streams. I try to stream every Monday through Friday in the morning, Eastern time. Usually the target is like a 6 a.m. start. I have yet to make a 6 a.m. start. It's usually like 7 or 8 a.m. start. And we go for 3 or 4 hours, and then I got to go start my day. So come check out the live stream. We're always playing Magic. Sometimes we might play another game, but most of the time, 99% of the time, we're playing Magic. Right now, it's on to standard. We're practicing there. Drafting will come as well. So we got a lot of cool draft content. And then if you just want to follow along on the behind the scenes, if you will, and the rest of the journey, just visit my website, halfpump.com. You'll find all of my links to my Twitter, to my Instagram, to my YouTube channels. You'll even find a Monster Hunter YouTube channel I started out there because I'm really excited for Monster Hunter Wilds. So that's the other game that sometimes I play, but I'm mostly a Magic player. But as we like to end everything around here, until next time, we'll catch you at the table.